As you can see, the Hebrew camps such as IUIC love to create graven images.
What's up, y'all? Let's look at what the definition of graven image is because our people is confused. You know, the whole time they had images of Caesar Borgia, the white Jesus, the Virgin Mary. They didn't mind having those images, but now that the Israelites coming out with the true image of Christ, now is a problem. All right, y'all. Some of us don't have a good understanding of, the English vocabulary, So let's look at it. It says right here in the Bible, graven refers to something carved or engraved, specifically an idol of graven image. So, for example, in Exodus, when our people took, molten gold and made an image, a actual molten image. They carved it out of gold. You see, that is a graven image. When you carve something out of wood or stone, that is a graven image. So, specifically, an idol or graven image, a man-made object created to be worshipped as a god. See, these images, these idols, were worshipped as gods. You see, that's the difference. When you bow yourself down to an image, for instance, a Christmas tree, that is a graven image. You see, the ancient Babylonians, they worshipped the Christmas tree. You see, or the fir tree, as it was called back in those days. You see, but all they did was change the name of it and call it Christ, Christmas. You see, that's all they did to fool black and Hispanic people. So-called Hispanic. All right. These images are considered false because they are inanimate. They are inanimate. They do not move. They cannot go by themselves, as it says in Jeremiah chapter 10. Unable to see, hear, or speak, and the act of worshiping them is prohibited from the of form of idolatry. A prohibited form of idolatry, particularly in the Ten Commandments. So look, when you carve anything out of wood, stone, or gold, and you bow yourself down to it, that is idolatry. Okay? You cannot come to the Israelite camp and say that an image of Christ being black is a graven image. That is nonsense. That is just stupidity on your part. Now let's go back to Exodus chapter 20, verse 4. It says, Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water underneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow thyself down to them. See, that is the difference. When you bow yourself down to an image of, Caesar Borgia, the white Jesus, that is idolatry. When you bow yourself down and kiss the foot of white Jesus on the cross, that is idolatry. So thou shalt not bow thyself down to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God. He's going to unalive you for that, you know, just like he did the Israelites that were bowing themselves down to the golden image, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children until the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. So don't listen to dumb, Christian apologetics that say you cannot make an image of the black Messiah. We only do it for educational purposes because I mean, we've been corrupted, we've been fooled, we've been bamboozled by the false image, you know, the image of the beast. You see, so we have to educate our people and show them the true depiction of the Messiah, in the Bible, in the scriptures. Shalom.